Greetings, everyone. So, how y'all doing today? Well, the other day I put out a video talking about the quantum error drama, in which at the end I speculated that the actual cause of the problem was that the developers were, rather than optimizing their game to run super efficiently, were taking advantage of the write and read speeds of the SSD to render a function in their game. And today we find out that I was actually, in fact, right, as the developers have begun doing damage control and have issued a, well, non-apology. So let's get right into this. We want to set the record straight that answering a question honestly was in no way us bashing Xbox for anything. That's a lie. Alright, look, answering a question honestly and saying, like, hey, we're. Actually, they didn't even answer it honestly, because as we're about to see, there actually are solutions to the problem on Xbox. And they basically later admit that they're just flat out just taking advantage of the processing power of the PlayStation over the Xbox. So, straight up, they weren't even honestly answering. But this is what really gets me about people online is they'll lie like this and you can scroll and see they're lying. Because it makes sense at a party, right? Like you say something and then 10 minutes later you say, well, I never said that. You know, it's not like 15 people are going to pull out their phones and play some audio clips, show pictures of you talking to somebody, show video. Like, that's just not going to happen in real life. But online, you can just scroll and see people's posts, unless they delete them, and then oftentimes there are screenshots of them, so it really just goes to show a lot of people are getting way too comfortable lying in real life, and forgetting you cannot lie like you do in real life online. But continuing onward, all we did was point out the current issue that we have come across and that we will have to spend more time to fix it. A different platform may require different solutions. Nothing wrong with that. We will not release the Xbox version until it is ready and want the Xbox fans to be able to enjoy the game experience and quality as much as the PlayStation fans. Also, gameplay footage being shown around is 2 years old. Was running on Unreal Engine 4. Okay, here's another lie. See, if you switch from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5, unless you update the textures and character design files, it's going to look exactly the same. So switching engines is not going to greatly improve your graphics. It's going to afford you more capacity and various other technologies that will be in the newer engine. And they go on to say, like, we are now running Unreal Engine 5.2, and the game has changed and has vastly improved since that footage. Now, not really an apology, because, again, they can just keep lying. But let's look at this next one. We do not say the game does not run or work on the Xbox. The game runs at 60 FPS at the same graphics quality on Xbox as the PS5. We only pointed out that the SSD on the Xbox is slower and that we have to find a way to figure that out. We have a boss fight in Quantum Error that swaps levels instantaneously 4 to 5 times like Ratchet and Clank game. Without the extra speed of the SSD in the PS5, the boss fight could stall or hitch, notice could, while transitioning, which will hamper the experience. Alright, so we've gone from the whole game needs the SSD to run to, okay, it's only one boss fight, and let's be real, like, if the boss fight actually does do that, that does actually sound pretty cool. I will give them credit for that. That sounds at least interesting. And from there, someone actually brought up a question. Doesn't direct storage on the Xbox solve that issue? And the developers go on to admit that we are working on it, and yeah, it might solve everything, but we gotta test everything and figure it all out. So, we've now gone from the game can only be ran with the PlayStation 5's SSD to, okay, it's just one boss that really, really needs that SSD, read and write speed to, yeah, okay, so Xbox actually does have technology that's able to fix the problem. See, they're just lying. It's like when you catch someone cheating and they're going to trickle truth you. Right now, we're getting trickle truthed by Quantum Error developers. And it's, quite frankly, sad and pathetic. So the next issue is like, when's the PC version coming out? So we all know most PCs do not run a super advanced SSD. They have good SSDs, and as I said last time, or maybe that got cut. Either way, when the PlayStation's SSD came out, there were 3 commercially available SSDs that were more powerful than the PlayStation 5's SSD, so it wasn't even the most powerful SSD at the time commercially. Now, you're probably wondering, Kevin, why are you saying commercially? Well, there's industrially. So, industrially, the SSD in the PlayStation 5 is a joke. The processing power some industrial SSDs have was just mind-blown at the time. So, PlayStation didn't even have the edge on the most advanced state-of-the-art SSD in the industry, period. Not commercially, and sure as hell not industrially. The PC version is going to take more time. You know, if you go on Google and see what platforms this game's coming out for, you find out that it's coming out for every platform, and then you have the developers on Twitter saying, okay, we intend to eventually release for a platform, but they're going to have to come much later. Because the PlayStation 5 will be the definitive way to experience quantum error. Yeah. So the developers, they're just console warring, and if something else came to light, they want to be bought by Sony. Was this a good marketing strategy? And the answer to that is straight up no. When this game launches, it better launch in a pristine condition, no bugs, no technical issues. It better be as good as the Dead Space remake, because it will be compared to the Dead Space remake. Because this is going to drop on PlayStation 5, so Xbox channels, gaming channels, Xbox Twitter, gaming Twitter, they're all going to compare Quantum Error to Dead Space remake. And I'll be realistic, I would not want to be compared to a Dead Space remake, because that was a really fun game. I mean, just a tinge of wokeness was added, but realistically, you could ignore a good chunk of it. But the gameplay was, si magnifique. And if this game does not live up to that hype, it does not live up to the performance expectations, it is going to be torn a new one. You have people now waiting for this game to fail. Now, I'm not going to say I'm going to cover this. It's really going to depend on my mood at the time. But you know every other Xbox channel sure is going to. So, these developers had better make sure they deliver a fantastic, well-honed, well-developed experience, or they are now screwed. And even if they do deliver that experience, because see, Tony Twitter is not the entire PlayStation fan base. Because a lot of gamers, they multiplat. Like me, I like to multiplat. I have a Switch. I might end up owning a PlayStation before the end of this generation. I owned a PlayStation last generation. I skipped Xbox last generation. For various reasons. I really just waited for them to come out with that must-have game, and they just never really did on the one generation. But this generation, I am really happy to be maining Xbox. But that aside, like I was saying, a lot of gamers, they multiplat, and they're going to see this Xbox being treated that way, and they're going to be like, you know what? There's going to be a ton of other games coming out. I don't think I'll be getting this one. And that is really going to hurt them. And when this game comes to Xbox and it comes to PC, it better run really well too. And even if it does, a lot of PC people, they're not going to get this game. A lot of Xbox players are straight up not going to get this game because of the console war. So at the end of the day, this company just irreparably damaged their brand and their game's reception. And really, there's no way to fix that. I mean, other than basically saying, hey, this is the person that was running our Twitter, and this is the developer that was doing it, they're fired. We apologize. Like, not like the apology they gave for others, like strip, just apologize. Hey, we got rid of the problem. We really want you guys to enjoy our game. This is not how we want to be. And even then, some people, because there's a lesson in, was it demographics? basically, once you lose an audience, it is extraordinarily hard to get them back, and there's only a certain percentage that actually ever will come back. Like, you're never going to get 100% of your audience back after you've lost. So, at the end of the day, quantum error is screwed. Now, the big question is, what pun should we use using the name quantum error to describe how badly they screwed up? I mean, it's just right there. I mean, we could go for the easy one, like, oh man, they just made a quantum error of a mistake. I think I'll leave it there. You all have a good one.